Everybody, welcome back to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished Salernitana nil, Napoli 2. And the sign of champions isn't always just playing bad and winning. It's also winning games that you're expected to win in a very routine, sort of sometimes boring, but really comfortable manner. That's the sign of champions. So I think Napoli showed that today. That if nothing else, they're slowly becoming the champion team that we all expect them to be this season with this pretty comfortable win. I mean, Salernitana they had the issues. I mean, with the Atlanta game, they conceded eight there, and so you always felt like there was going to be a bit of pragmatism, a little bit of prime damage limitation in some ways. So you always felt like Salernitana weren't going to push as much as they should have, and so it really was about getting that first goal. And once that first goal went in, kind of knew Napoli were going to go on and win the game. You just kind of felt that. But the fact that they got those two goals so quickly, either side of half time, I think that kind of knocked the stuffing out of Salernitana as well. They did miss Celia in the first half. At least I thought they really missed him. The opening exchange, they just what he offers. I think Elmas is a good player, but just something about Kvaratskhelia this season that just you don't. There's just intangibles that you can't really quantify and you can't really put your finger on it. But it just brings something different to this team. But a well-worked goal for that first goal. It was a good pass down the line, like on the left hand side, I believe. It comes out. It's a nice little pass that goes to Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo this season he's having captain leading from the front and he scores. It's a fantastic finish, by the way, just under the bar. You always like those kind of goals, when you hit under the bar and go in, except when it's against your team. But you always like those kind of finishes where they go under the bar and just hit the crossbar and go in like that. It's always good to watch. And it was a good first goal. It was well worked, team goal, which is kind of what we now learn to expect from Napoli. And you just kind of knew, okay, 1-0, just get through the first maybe 5-10 minutes and they can see the game out. And they didn't do that. They just said, no, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and get a second. And they got a second. Victor Osimhen, it was a rebound, but it was a great finish, a wonderful finish from Osimhen. Should probably had another one today. It was full of enterprise, full of running. But that's a neat finish, and it was not offside at all. I think the goalkeeper could have done better on the save, maybe. Because you got to push it away from the goal, right? You're not trying to push it back into the danger area. And not came at him quickly. And I know it was a very well hit shot, but still you expect better. You expect better from a player of Ochoa's ability, but I think nothing. Right? The finish was pretty good from Osimhen, and it's 2-0. You kind of know that one. I think for Salernitana it was about stick or twist, and I think the thing was, do you risk getting going forward and considering 3-4-5? Like they did to Atlanta with the school at 8, or do you kind of just try and be conservative, try and see if you can get a goal somewhere, but not go exert too much. I think that was the thing. I think they didn't try to exert too much. Maybe Napoli didn't allow them to. That's also possible. That Napoli just didn't allow them to get out of their shell, to come out of their shell. There was that one moment in the 82nd minute where I think it was Lobotka, wasn't it, who had the shot against him, and that was just such a needless thing to do from Di Lorenzo. He just tries, and I don't know what he was trying to do there, but I think it was a little bit of complacency, a little bit of being casual. Sometimes you get so used to the pace of the game that any kind of slight change makes you a little bit uncomfortable, makes it a little bit it's kind of hard to then again up the pace a little bit. That's what happened with Lorenzo, and could have been costly. But it's a good save from Meret. And again, another player who's kind of gone a bit under the radar, I think, is all the other attacking talents they have. Meret has been really good this season. He got some good save. He has a bit of luck as well, because even with the save, it probably could have gone in, but it takes the post and goes the other side. So they keep the clean sheet 2-0, which I think they'll be happy with. And again, like I said, it's a comfortable routine win. There's nothing wrong with that. Not every game has to be a 5-0 romp. Sometimes you can just ease your way through a 2-0 victory, particularly at this stage of the season. At this stage of the season, with the 9 points clear, now the 12 points clear. You don't need to exert yourself. You can kind of just see the games out and just maintain your position. That's equally as important. So that was a good result, a fantastic result for Napoli, a good performance as well, the kind of performance you want to see, from your team. And as a manager, I think this is the kind of performances that really please you, because it's away from home. It's again against the sort of a mid-table side. Maybe relegation fighting, but really lower mid-table at this moment in time. That's where Salernitana are. And you just kind of see yourself through with a nice little comfortable 2-0 Quintus routine. So I like that. I think Min-Jae for me, he probably was a bit troubled with Christoph Piatek, which is interesting that he was troubled, but recovered pretty well. I think Piatek had a good game overall. He's probably the most enterprising of the Salernitana players, probably because of his physicality. He does bring something different to the side. But I thought Min-Jae had some issues the first half. I think dealt with him relatively well. The second, I can't remember. Aside from that error that Lobotka had, I can't remember any clear-cut chances that Salernitana were creating. I mean, there's probably one more that came from a header, but nothing much otherwise. I think it was pretty nondescript in some ways, and that's probably not the best thing for them. But and this game wasn't really going to define their fortunes. This was really about making sure that if you try and get something from it if you can, but if not, just make sure you don't get hammered again. I think that was the plan for Nicola. And as far as Napoli concerned, I also Min-Jae, I thought. As I said, they missed Kvaratskhelia in the first half. I think Elmas came into the game in the second half. He also, I think, had an assist. So it was not too bad. I think he did pretty well overall in this game. But they were missing Kvaratskhelia and they want him back as soon as possible in the side. Then you talk about Victor Osimhen. And what can you talk about Osimhen? I think he's the man of the match for me. He's clearly the man of the match because not just his goal, but he was so full of running. As I said, he probably should have had another goal as well. He got a few chances that maybe he could have finished off, or maybe the pass could have been better. But he's a fantastic player. And for anybody who's thinking, Osimhen, next season, go and sign him. There's clubs out there that are saying, well, get Osimhen, get Osimhen. The fact is, if you're paying 100 million euros for the likes of Antony and Mudryk, he's easily going to be 150 million euros. Like that's going to be like the base price. I think it's going to be 150 million euros. There's no way that Napoli are going to sell him for less than 150 million. If they do, then it would be a waste. Like they got to look for at least 150 million euros for him. It doesn't matter if a club doesn't pay it, keep him. But 150 million euros on this form, 150 million euros is the minimum that any club is going to ask for him because he's young. He's got pace. He's got strength. He's got brilliant technique, by the way. And he's got an absolute eye for goal. It's almost a perfect package, and you could probably put him in the same category as, in terms of attributes, you could put him in the same category as Erling Haaland. Haaland is probably a better finisher. I'm not saying that one is better, the other is better. But I'm just saying that you can probably compare the two in attributes, and both are very, very similar. And those kind of strikers are worth their weight in gold. So I would expect 150 million euros minimum. So I don't think it's going to be as easy and straightforward a deal as some people are thinking. Oh yeah, just go and get Osimhen next season. I don't think that's going to work like that because I think the money will be outrageous that will be demanded. But we'll see what happens. But thoroughly impressed by him, thoroughly impressed, and hope to see more. And we'll see what they do in the Champions League as well. Hopefully they can go far. But yeah. At the moment, with things how they are Serie A at the moment, I think we're gonna have a fourth different champion in 4 seasons. Because I mean, again, I don't know if Milan and Inter can be consistent enough to challenge Napoli. The thing about Napoli is not only are they winning, they're being very consistent. And you need a team that's going to be consistent. And 9 points is a big gap to make, right? Even assuming the game in the hand is won, they're 9 points behind. You need consistency of performances to be able to do that. And I don't think Milan and Inter they're just tripping over themselves every week or every other week. They just keep tripping over themselves. So I don't know. I don't see them being challenged, but things can change. It's still only halfway through the season. But mostly when somebody gets 50 points in the first half of the season, you do expect them to go on and win the title. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's Napoli. You can never say never. With what happens, but let's see how it goes. But anyway, let me know in the comments what do you think about the game. What do you think about Victor Osimhen? What do you think about any of the players? Elmas, Kvaratskhelia, who's not playing today. What do you think about the midfield? I thought the midfield was pretty good as well, actually, for Napoli. Again, something that goes on the radar, but some really good performances there as well. But let me know what you thought about the game, of course, and share your comments. Do smash a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. You can do all three, of course. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.